All right, good morning. The court is going to take up the next case on the court's docket. This is cause number C200084CPS. In the interest of Zelda and Dubose, a child, the case is set for a permanency hearing and pretrial. The case is currently set for trial November 5th, 2021 at 9 a.m. with a dismissal date of December 4th, 2021. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is caseworker Deborah Putnam and regional attorney Catherine Estrada. The mother of the child is Savannah Stevens, and she is participating in the hearing today along with her attorney ad litem Gerald Ratliff. The father of the child is Michael Dubose, and he is participating in the hearing today. Stephanie Goodman is the attorney and guardian ad litem for the child, and she is participating in the hearing today. Also participating in the hearing today is Matthew Butcher, who is the foster parent caregiver for the child. The child is excused from participating in today's hearing. All right, if we're ready to proceed, I'm going to ask Ms. Putnam, Ms. Stevens, Mr. Boys, and Mr. Butcher, if each of you could raise your right hands, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. All right, if we're ready, then Ms. Estrada, if you want to call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department would call Deborah Putnam.
Lyndon,
Thank you.
can you show me how to get more volume?
Ms.
I'm
Putnam,
sorry. Go ahead.
Ms. Putnam, can you please state your name for the record?
Deborah Putnam.
And how are you associated with this case?
I am the caseworker through the Department of Family and Protective Services.
Can you please tell the court about the mother's compliance with her service plan?
Ms. Stevens is working her service plan. She is needing to follow the recommendations of ADAC, and we've discussed this. Her recommendations were inpatient. She is attending prenatal care as she is pregnant and due in September. She is attending NAAA meetings. She has a job and a appropriate home at this time.
What else does she need to do before her child can be returned to her?
She needs to follow the recommendations of ADAC, and she also needs to continue to test negative on drug test. As she is doing, she needs to show that she can remain sober and not relapse. And then I also need a relapse prevention plan, and she needs to continue to go to NAAA.
Do you have any concerns regarding services that she has not yet completed?
I have concerns as to the ADAC as the recommendations inpatient, and she's wanting to wait until her child is born so that she can complete outpatient instead of inpatient.
Is she currently having visitation with Zelda?
Yes, she is.
Is that in person or virtual?
It's in person weekly for an hour, and the only visits that have been missed and made up is when Zelda was out of town. Other than that, Ms. Stevens has participated in visitation.
And how is the visitation going overall?
It goes well with Ms. Stevens being pregnant. She obviously can't move around or bend over as much as she would like to, but she does interact well with Zelda and talks to her and plays games with her.
Okay, what about the father's compliance with his service plan?
Mr. Dubose is, he has a job, he has appropriate housing as he lives with Ms. Stevens. He is testing negative at this time. We need to see him continue to test negative. He has gone and completed an ADAC assessment and needs to follow those recommendations as to outpatient, and he is going to NAAA meetings.
What else does he need to complete before his child can be returned to him?
He needs to follow the recommendations of ADAC, continue to show that he can remain sober, provide a relapse prevention plan, and continue going to NAAAs and testing negative on drug test.
Do you have concerns regarding services that he has not yet completed?
I just have concerns that he hasn't followed through with the recommendations of ADAC. I know at one point it was due to his job and working overnights. We did refer him to West Texas Guidance and Counseling, as they do work with clients for outpatient. And then he did switch jobs, and I referred him to go back to ADAC and discuss with them about outpatient. And he has not done either. And then he did just get a second job back at Walmart. So he's working 2 jobs at this time. So I will have to discuss with him how he can follow that recommendation.
Is Mr. Dubose having visitation?
Yes, he does visitation with Miss Stevens. He does well with Zelda. He plays with her and interacts very well with her.
Where is Zelda placed?
Zelda is placed here in San Angelo in a foster home with Mr. and Mrs. Butcher.
Are her needs being met in this placement?
Yes, they are.
Is medical and dental up to date?
Yes.
Is she on any psychiatric medication?
No, she's not.
Is she on any other type of medication?
No.
Has the department identified any additional relatives who could potentially serve as placement?
We, Ms. Stevens has asked that her father be looked at. We have concerns of his, of drug use, as it has been informed throughout this case that Ms. Stevens used to use methamphetamines with him. We have requested him to drug test and hair follicle throughout the case, and he has not done so. The paternal grandparents were placement. However, they are not able to be long-term placement. We have looked at paternal uncles, and neither of them are able to be placement. And I will be getting with Miss Stevens about getting information for her mom to see if she could be placement.
What is the permanency plan at this point?
The goal is relative adoption.
Why is the goal not family reunification?
Throughout this case, Ms. Stevens and Mr. Dubose have not worked their service plan to the fullest until recently. They've also relapsed several times throughout this case.
Thank you, Ms. Putnam. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Mr. Radliff, any questions?
Yes. It's common for people to relapse, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is she doing everything she needs to do now to get the children back or get the child back?
She is needing to follow the recommendation of ADAC.
Pass the witness.
Ms. Goodman, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right. Ms. Estrada, did you have any other witness you want to call?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ratliff, did you have any witness you want to call?
No, Your Honor, but before she leaves, I have not talked to my client, though we've tried to reach out to her. Would the caseworker please attempt to have her contact me?
All right. Ms. Stevens, I'd encourage you to try to contact Mr. Ratliff if you can, just so y'all can visit about the case after the hearing. All right. All right, I'm sorry, Ms. Goodman, did you have any other witnesses or matters you want to address?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Dubose, is there anything you'd like the court to know about your position in the case at this point in time?
Not at the moment, pretty much. About what Deborah said, me and her will get together about my work situation. It's I did go back to Walmart and I am working to 11 over there again, but also working 10 to 1 over at my other job.
All right. Thank you. All right. The court will continue the department as temporary managing conservator of the children and of the child and continue the child in current placement. Mr. Butcher, anything you'd like the court to know about how the child's doing or anything you need at this point?
Nothing serious or important. I mean, she's doing great. She's a really sweet kid and we're happy to have her in our home.
All right. Thank you for the care you're providing while this case proceeds. I appreciate it. As I indicated, the court will continue the current orders in place. The case remains set for a trial on November 5th, 2021 at 9 a.m. I am required to notify any parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental and custodial rights and duties to your child may be subject to restriction or even termination, and your progress on any court orders or plans of service will be reviewed at future hearings in this case. Mr. Dubose and Ms. Stevens, the department is required to set forth at each of these hearings what their permanency plan is, which is basically a statement that if the facts remain as they are today, what they would be asking the court to do at the time of trial. At this point, they're indicating that their request would be to ask the court for an order terminating your parental rights to your child. Now, whether or not that would actually occur would depend on what the facts and the evidence is at the time of trial. And so just because they may ask for that doesn't mean that would be what would occur, but it is possible that could be one outcome in this case. Those permanency plans can change, so you still have the opportunity to work on your service plans, and I encourage each of you to do so. It'll benefit you and your child as well. Mr. Dubose will advise you again that you have a right to retain a lawyer to represent you in connection with this case. If you cannot afford a lawyer and you're opposed to what the department's wanting to do in the case, you can make a request for a court-appointed lawyer by filing an affidavit of indigence with the Tomlin County District Clerk. If the court determines you do not have sufficient assets or income to hire a lawyer on your own, the court can appoint a lawyer for you. So given the department's permanency plan in this case, I suggest you may want to consider whether you want to obtain a lawyer to represent you or whether you want to make a request for a court-appointed lawyer. Again, whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer will depend on what your assets or income is and your ability to pay for a lawyer on your own. But if you qualify, you can get a court-appointed lawyer. So I encourage you to look at that carefully. All right. With that, we'll be adjourned for the day. Thank you.